The neck is an often neglected area of our body when it comes to exercise. Yet when you think about it, it's a crucial area for our good health. It's the corridor where we get fresh oxygenated blood up to our brain, and it's where all of the nerves of the central nervous system work their way back through the cervical spine area and spread out through the rest of our body. It's also an area of our body that's capable of some of the most versatile movements of any other part of our body. And yet, in today's society, most of our workforce, or much of our workforce, sits the majority of the day staring at a computer screen, hardly moving our heads at all. So, here's a few simple exercises we can do to keep our neck in good condition. The first movement is going to be bringing the head forward against the resistance of our fingertips, lightly touching our forehead. I have my fingers just inside of my temple area. I'm not going to put pressure on my forehead until my head actually starts to move forward. So I rock my head back with my fingertips gently on my forehead, and as my head starts to come forward, that's when I put pressure on my forehead. There's one. Nice constant movement all the way through. We're going to be doing 5 of each of these. There's 2. 3. Don't force any of the range of motion on this. There's 4. You might hear a little bit of clicking and popping going on. That's normal. And there's 5, but certainly if you feel any acute pain, you should stop immediately. Okay, now we're going to do the next movement, which is moving the head backward against the resistance of the hands, the fingers interlaced behind the head. The front of the neck's probably the weakest of your neck muscles, and the back is probably the strongest of your neck muscles. But again, don't put pressure on your head until your head actually starts to move backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and interlace my fingers, and as my head starts to move back, I start to pull and put some resistance on it. Okay, there's 1. Again, nice even pace. We're doing 5 repetitions. There's 2. Be nice and gentle these first few times out. There's 3. These muscles are definitely not used to getting any kind of work at all in most people's lives. There's 4. And here we come back for 5. Now you can pick either side of your head, and I'm going to put the heel of the palm of my hand up against the side of my head, just in back of my temple area. And again, no pressure on the head until the head actually starts moving. So we're going from side to side now. So I go ahead and I get my head oriented, and as I start to move is when I put pressure on my head. There's 1. Again, just work through a range of motion you're comfortable with. There's 2. Don't put too much pressure on your neck. There's 3. You're just resisting the movement, especially these first few times you do this exercise. There's 4. And there's 5. Okay, now go ahead and switch sides. Heel of the palm of the hand against the side of the head, right about even, and then just in back of the temple. Again, no pressure until I start moving my head. Okay, here I go. There's 1. Nice even pace all the way through. No jerking. There's 2. No extra pushing when you get to the other end. There's 3. The spine is a very gentle bone structure. There's 4. Very fragile bone structure. And there's 5. Okay, so we've done a forward, and we've done a backward, and we've done a side, and we've done a side. Now we're going to rotate the head. This time I'm going to put the heel of my hand again right about even, maybe slightly ahead of my temple, and I'm going to resist the turning of my head as I come around. Again, no pressure until I start moving my head. There's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now back to the other direction. Go ahead and put the heel of the palm of your hand even with, but just behind your temple, or even just right where you're over your temple, and don't put pressure until you start moving your head. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you go. In a few minutes you can do just some basic exercises that can really help you to maintain the integrity of your neck. Do these the same as you would with your upper body movements. You're not going to be wanting to do these every day. 2 or 3 times a week would be fine to help maintain the health of your neck.